last night and posted it, and it's got 3 views, alright? That's decent enough for one night, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it gained me a subscriber. Now I'm on 126. Thank you so much. So much. And by the way, don't tell anyone, 3 more episodes until season 2. Shh, can't wait, can we?
Yeah, I can't wait.
And it will be a completely new theme. Well, we're talking about theme, but we're not going to switch from Harry Potter. It's all still going to be Harry Potter, but it's going to be a bit different of a style. I wasn't wanting to do that. So, let's just get into today's. Today, I have prepared a few behind-the-scene footage on YouTube. All of the videos we use will be credited in the description below. And we'll be reacting to them. And some of these are the silliest things back from 2005 when YouTube was launched. So, let's get into it. First video I have pinned to Google Chrome is 15 Harry Potter bloopers and cutest on-set moments, which lasts for 8 minutes long. We're going to watch the full thing. And this is going to be a long ride. So get in your coffee recliner and chillax, dudes. Chillax. Right, Abby?
Yeah.
Chillax. In 3, 2, 1, go.
The cast of the Harry Potter franchise were all perfectly behaved behind the scenes.
I'm an angel.
Okay, maybe not. But they did share some sweet moments on set, as well as some potentially dangerous ones. If you've ever wondered how slugs taste, or how Ginny coped with being trapped in the Chamber of Secrets, we'll fill you in.
Why are you so determined to embarrass me?
Ginny waited so long for Harry to finally return her affections, but Bonnie Wright wanted to wait even longer before locking lips with Daniel Radcliffe. Apparently, they both felt it was strange to smooch someone they'd grown up with, which made each actor nervous. Needless to say, they didn't quite get this in one take. It took...
Harry Potter is way too kissy. How many takes did it take?
Quite a few the first
Did you?
film, yeah.
Quite a
Bonnie
few.
estimates that their nerves caused them to redo this scene 30 times before
30
Harry
times?
and Ginny's first kiss looked convincing in The Half-Blood Prince. The lesson Bonnie learned from this,
30
when it comes to kissing or just filming a kiss, sometimes you just have to go for it.
We had fun doing it. We joked about,
We had fun.
Speaking of
We
awkward
had fun with
on-set
Abby.
kisses, tons of fans were excited to see Hermione and Ron lock lips for the first time. Or at least were willing to put up with it in exchange for never having to hear Lavender say,
Go on, one.
again. But behind the scenes, Rupert Grint and Emma Watson were
Lavender is so annoying, isn't she, Fabi?
Yeah.
I hate her.
both dreading it, since they considered themselves siblings at that point.
Believe me, we both wanted it to be over equally as much as the other.
As clever as Hermione, Emma came up with a plan.
She knows that rather than doing 27 takes, she knew if she committed really early, we'd get it.
She wasn't about to do 30 takes like Bonnie and Daniel, so
right,
she
okay.
through herself at Rupert right away.
Once we did it, it was nice.
It was
We know
nice.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Rupert Grint's reaction. It was nice. Fabi, if I kissed you,
Can I-
you would be like, it was nice. If you're on a live broadcasting program, it was nice. Like, what on earth? Okay, let's continue.
Act, but can he dance? You might not know what to believe after seeing this clip.
Yes.
Lots of episodes, so that would take about 56 minutes for all of them.
That's good.
Of him and Shafali Chaudhry
Take a
at the
look at
U-Haul.
Edward tomorrow
In
night.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, we learned even witches and wizards have school dances full of drama. Apparently, it took a little time for Harry and Pravati to get their moves right on set.
It is just a rehearsal.
It is just a rehearsal, okay? Classic British voice saying, it is just a rehearsal in 2004. 2005. Great job.
Later, Daniel claimed to be a fantastic dancer.
But because Harry's not very good, I felt I should play it down.
Is he a really bad dancer or a really good actor? Ron's brothers, Fred and George, are notorious troublemakers, but Rupert was the real problem on set. Sometimes stars couldn't help but giggle during a scene, and every cast member in the Harry Potter franchise is guilty of this, but no one caused as many disruptions as Rupert.
You shouldn't be laughing at the end when you find out that Dan's gonna potentially be killed by Snape.
His laughter distracted his co-stars.
I can see Rupert laughing in the mirror, and I can see it, and I can hear him sniggering in my ear.
Frustrated the crew,
Rupert will start giggling, and he'll pretend he isn't giggling.
and ended up causing the need for a penalty system for unsanctioned laughter.
Red card.
Bonnie was forced to
Red
pick
card for laughing. You get a red card for laughing. This isn't football, Fabi, is it?
Yeah, it isn't football.
up during the Half-Blood Prince, during the scene in which Ginny brings Harry a mince pie
Oh,
because
yum.
she just couldn't stop giggling.
Mince pie.
In Harry
Love
Potter and the
pie.
I love mince pie. I love any pie,
Sorcerer's-
as long as it's pie or
Wait,
but with warm custard. Ooh.
I think in Harry Potter, you know, when the Halloween, I think that was actual food, wasn't it?
Yes. Can I tell you a fun fact? It might come later in one of these videos, but the food actually turned rotten because it had been lying on the set for days. So they were eating rotten food.
Stone, first-year Hogwarts students learn how to fly brooms for the first time.
Oh.
Playing hand games might not be quite as exciting as soaring through the sky on brooms, but it made for some adorable behind-the-scenes moments.
Aw.
Apparently, Emma couldn't help but take playtime seriously, and her cast members noticed a competitive streak right away.
Forever competitive person.
Emma slapping hands with Tom Felton was so cute, we can't believe she was smacking him in the face just a few years after this.
Hermione, no! He's not worth it.
But don't let Emma Watson fool you. She's a competitive and clever person. But that doesn't mean she can't be bad once in a while. This star has broken character due to laughter quite a few times and was seen using her cell phone while on set.
On the bed, with her shoes on.
Everyone knows electronics don't work at Hogwarts, Emma. As much as we love the movies, they can't incorporate
And
every element from the books, even if we don't like to admit it. One of the things cut from the films was Hermione's oversized front teeth, but it turns out Emma did have some
oversized front teeth. Ooh.
at least for a while.
Am I supposed to have my teeth on?
According to Sorcerer's Stone director Chris Columbus, Emma is actually wearing false teeth during this scene, but he realized she couldn't keep acting with them in her mouth.
Oh, are you doing magic? Let's see then.
What's more difficult than trying to get a big group of kids to cooperate on set? How about trying to keep them in line when they're flying through the air? That was a real problem thanks to all those Quidditch matches. And when we saw dueling in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Maybe that's why Harry usually sticks to a simple disarming spell.
Expelliarmus!
As you might have guessed based on this scene we talked about earlier, there was no love lost between Hermione and Draco. Not unless we're talking about Hermione fanfiction. But behind the scenes, Emma admits
Lol.
she had a huge crush on Tom Felton when they were kids. That's right, during the first two films, Hermione was really smitten with Draco the entire time. Some people think Emma and Tom are dating in real life, but he claims that when he found out about her crush,
I heard it through the grapevine, and then eventually, we became good friends.
poor Emma had to film her scene on the Hogwarts Express with fake teeth, while Rupert and Daniel got to stuff their mouths with candy.
I've got every single flavour.
Well, hopefully not every flavor.
George sweared he got a bogey flavoured one once.
Apparently, nobody ever told Daniel not to play with his food.
Get a snake and turn it into a flavour.
Daniel Radcliffe and
Oh
Rupert
gosh,
Grint
that was funny. Get a snake and turn into a. You know those gummy snakes? He was like swing. Trap and fell. He was like chum, swinging it around. Huh?
are friends in real life, but on set they had a few differences. Apparently, Rupert was a little bit shy and didn't want to be seen while he was getting his hair and makeup done.
Rather not be seen like this?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Daniel had no problem wearing some different clothes during Harry Potter and
Bra.
the Deathly
He's
Hallows.
talking about the bra.
Wow, we're identical.
Ron learned about the dangers of a broken wand the hard way when he ended up cursing himself with a slug vomiting charm in Chamber of Secrets.
Ew.
We know Ron didn't have a lot of fun being
Yuck,
cursed,
right,
but
Tabby?
Rupert didn't exactly enjoy it either. For Rupert, this movie moment was the most challenging part of the franchise at that point.
What?
He had
Were
to
they
put-
real slugs?
No, actually they were these gummy slugs. He got to choose the flavour, so he actually quite liked it.
slimy plastic slugs in his mouth, and then,
Plastic.
well, you know. Don't worry, there was at least one upside to filming this scene.
They tasted quite nice, actually.
In order to make the process a little bit easier, the crew made sure to add flavoring to the slime. So Rupert was tasting chocolate, fruit, and peppermint. Apparently, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was full of challenges for the cast, and Bonnie Wright struggled to get through one of the scenes. Ginny Weasley has a bigger part in the second movie, but unfortunately, that was because she was being tormented by you-know-who. She ended up in the Chamber of Secrets, laying on a very cold marble floor. According to Bonnie, the floor was so freezing that she couldn't handle laying on it for long enough to film the scene. So in order to get her through it, the crew hid hot water bottles in her clothes to keep her warm.
Poor Ginny grows weaker.
Emma Watson has had
So they hid hot water bottles in Ginny's...
tons of success, both within the Harry Potter franchise and outside of it. But there was a time when filming Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, she actually missed her mark. Literally. Escaping Gringotts wasn't easy behind the scenes either, but at least there wasn't a real dragon.
Well, come on then!
Behind-the-scenes bloopers are one thing, but Helena Bonham Carter did some real damage to one of her
Happy birthday, Helena.
co-stars while working on Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Bellatrix Lestrange has a real mean streak, while Helena's harm was entirely accidental. During one scene, Bellatrix gets her hands on Neville Longbottom and puts him in peril in front of his friends. It turns out, actor Matthew Lewis was in real danger of her wand. Matthew moved while Helena was poking her wand at his ear, and the two collided. Ouch! Matthew ended up with a perforated eardrum and didn't come clean about what happened for 3 days. Don't worry, the pain and hearing loss was temporary, although the jokes kept on going. Helena says she would always shout to ask Matthew if he was alright after this.
Oh, I think Helena's found a crush.
I don't think her crush is Neville.
Don't give it to her.
Which one of these behind-the-scenes moments was your favorite? Do you think the cast was perfect together, or would you have preferred some other stars?
Okay, that's it. That was crazy.
That was 11 minutes.
Remember, the podcast was 11 minutes, the video was 8 minutes. So, remember, this video will be in the description, as well as all the others. Now we have a 10-minute video, which is longer. The Harry Potter actors' least favourite scenes to film. Why not?
And I cried, and I was in the bath.
One scene was such a headache to film, Daniel Radcliffe suffered 2 ear infections. Filming the epic Harry Potter saga, the cast faced loads of challenges. The painful, the awkward, and the mentally draining. Today, we're taking a look at the least pleasant scenes these actors had to film in the wizarding world. Which actor felt such distress filming, they thought their heart stopped beating?
Because we were both nervous, and we both knew we were nervous.
The Harry Potter actors, particularly the trio of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, had to film some pretty terrifying scenes, and sometimes they even had to face real-life fears of their own. Poor Ron has to face his fear of creepy, crawly spiders in very nerve-wracking situations. Regular spiders are bad enough. Ron had to face one that was larger than life as well.
I'm really scared of spiders.
For the actor, there wasn't much acting
So,
being done.
Ron's scared of spiders in the film, but he's also scared of spiders in real life. What on earth? That's a coincidence, or was he lying on the camera?
I don't know, but I think he's
Probably a
not lying.
coincidence, yeah.
During these scenes. The only false note would have been any sense of calm. Rupert Grint has more in common with Ron than fiery red hair. Both struggle with arachnophobia, an intense fear of spiders.
So I didn't know really what to expect.
Filming these scary scenes was a total nightmare for Grint. We can't imagine he watches those scenes back too often.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Looking back at the earlier Harry Potter films, in particular the very first one, can be a very frustrating experience for Emma Watson. The actress hated the way her hair was styled throughout the filming of the first movie and thinks it looks awful. The puffiness and mess of the hair was natural to the actress.
I think Emma's hair is really pretty. I like Hermione's hair.
Same.
I love it.
At all. And being so young, she really
But
wasn't
now-
a fan of the unfortunate.
Now I hate it because she cut it. Now it's like my hair.
I know.
I don't like that. I prefer her
Yeah.
originalness.
Look. The Hermione actress never felt great while she was filming in her scenes since she was feeling self-conscious due to the annoying and geeky hair.
It's not easy. I thought it would be so much easier. I thought it would be...
When Harry, Ron, and Hermione escape through the sky from Gringotts on top of a dragon, it seems like there couldn't be any better feeling in the world. Shortly after the fact, when they get dropped into a lake, well, this wasn't a scene that had the actors feeling particularly good. Since later in the movie the actors have to change, they weren't able to wear any layers underneath their clothing to keep warm after plunging into a frigid lake. The filming for this scene took place deep in the winter months. We're talking January, February, so the water was unbearably freezing. To make it that much worse, the water in the lake couldn't be heated at all either, so the actors had to struggle trying to perform and breathe normally in these trying conditions. For Watson, it was one of the absolute worst experiences she had filming. Rupert Grint actually...
At least he's not like out in the wild. One of those clips is a green screen. So luckily it's a green screen in front of a real lake with a green screen. Imagine if it was like wind outside and everything, but it was a green screen with a normal lake. That's indoors. That's easier, right? Yeah.
Struggled so much at one point he was terrified because he felt as if his heart had stopped beating.
If anything, he feels more dangerous.
Hard right. Left.
Ad, sorry.
And the Goblet of Fire is an intense experience. We absolutely feel for the actors who had to deal with rough weather, daring stunts, and extremely emotional scenes. For Radcliffe, the worst scenes to film for the fourth installment were the ones underwater, as part of the Triwizard Tournament. To prepare for these daring scenes, Radcliffe had to undergo intense diving lessons to make sure he could perform what was needed as safely as possible. The stress didn't end there, though. Unfortunately, it took a full 6 weeks of torture to finally capture all the footage that was needed for the movie. In total, Radcliffe dealt with a full 41 hours underwater filming.
Oh my god!
That amount of time in combination with the freezing temperature...
That's like just less than 2 days. 2 days underwater. Oh my god. We just went swimming, but not like that.
Temperatures were pretty rough on the actor physically. Radcliffe wound up suffering 2 bad ear infections as a result of the rough filming conditions.
A bit frustrating was the fact that communication is obviously quite difficult.
While Daniel Radcliffe played a total Quidditch star, he wasn't such a fan of shooting any of the high-flying scenes throughout the films. Sure, the novelty was cool at first. Which 10-year-old wouldn't want to pretend to fly on a broomstick? Unfortunately, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be, and there were some serious downsides to sitting on brooms for hours at a time, including numb buns. Radcliffe was often in pain while filming and dreaded every time he had to mount his broom, which wasn't much more than that. A hard broom. Instead of feeling like they were on top of the world, the Quidditch players resented sitting on the uncomfortable and impractical devices. One might think looking back could bring some sense of fondness or longing to have another go at it, but according to Radcliffe, it's not something I'd rush back to.
Just because you made the team last year does not guarantee you a spot this year. Is that clear?
Bonnie Wright got to show off some amazing skills when Dumbledore's army was hard at work in the Room of Requirement. While the actress enjoyed performing those scenes, the experience of filming them wasn't her favorite because of the magical room itself. Wright felt extremely claustrophobic in the space, which was only made worse by the fact that
Claustrophobic means you can't breathe because it's such a tight space.
Some scenes saw tons of people needing to be in the same room at the same time. For the actress, the crowding and anxiety became too much to handle, and she was left feeling totally hysterical.
The memories are too strong, I think, for all of us.
The Room of Requirement really wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Bonnie Wright's on-screen older twin brothers, James and Oliver Phelps, hated having to film scenes on the dreaded set. Not because it was too overcrowded, but because they got way too hot. The actors claimed the set was often extremely warm, and combined with the warm sweaters they had to wear, the twins overheated while filming. The result may look brilliant, but...
I didn't know humans could overheat. Can humans overheat? Oh my god.
In reality, the set was a sweaty nightmare and the actors hated having to do it, even though the content was pretty incredible.
Well done, everyone. Great work.
We all love to hate Dolores Umbridge, and while the actress plays the cruel and vicious woman extremely convincingly, the performance came at a cost. Imelda Staunton loved working on the franchise, but after filming intensely mean scenes, she didn't always feel very good. One scene in particular put her over the edge. The actress was left feeling really awful for a couple of days after filming this scene, with the most painful line session we've ever seen.
You deserve to be punished.
It was a really disturbing moment for Staunton when she realized people could be capable of such vile behavior. For some actors, filming deeply cruel and vicious content can be seriously tough mentally.
Because she's quite hard.
Bonnie Wright, of course, had to lock lips with Daniel Radcliffe. But when it came to filming their kissing scenes, in particular their first and the sixth film, Wright felt a lot of uncomfortable pressure performing what was meant to be a pretty significant moment. Combine that with the awkwardness of kissing someone who's more like family in front of a crowd of people who are filming your every move. Let's just say kissing Harry, unfortunately, wasn't the most fun scene for the actress to film.
Just like any other scene that you're filming, so...
Acting legend Dame Maggie Smith had her fair share of difficult experiences behind the scenes on the Harry Potter set. The actress had to endure acting and sitting in huge, heavy costumes. Heavy hats were the cherry on top of the annoying experience. What made it all worse is that sometimes she'd prepare to film a scene in full costume, hair, and makeup, but...
I didn't know hats could be... Can hats be heavy? No such thing as a heavy hat.
Yeah, I don't think
I know there's like a heavy milkshake or a heavy drink, or like, I know the heavy clothes exist, but a heavy hat? What on earth?
They wouldn't get to her, so all that duress was for nothing. Not to mention the fact that Smith also underwent cancer treatments while filming some of the movies. Talk about a trooper. No one can mess with McGonagall.
It's magic.
Adolescence is tough for any teenager.
It's magic.
But poor Matthew Lewis had to deal with being a teenager and made to look supremely awkward and nerdy. Various movies saw Lewis in a fat suit, false teeth, and bits of plastic behind his ears to make them stick out. Being on set and filming made the actor very self-conscious, particularly once he was a bit older and was more attuned to the fact that there were lots of girls on set who only ever saw him as nerdy Neville.
It was horrible.
While we gushed watching Hermione and Ron finally kiss, the two actors weren't feeling nearly as good about the whole situation. The pair, of course, have a sibling-like relationship, having grown up together, so performing this intimate and passionate kiss in front of loads of people who they'd also known for years was a nightmare. That wasn't the only awkward kiss, though. Watson and Radcliffe had to share a steamy smooch as well, which was made even worse to film by the presence of Rupert Grint. The actor's laughter didn't last for long, though, since it was so distracting, Watson actually had Grint kicked off of the set. Helena Bonham Carter gives an extraordinary performance as the evil Bellatrix. But when she was on set, things sometimes went a bit too far, leaving the actress with some regrettable memories. Bonham Carter wound up badly injuring her co-star Matthew Lewis when she perforated his eardrum during a scene, leaving him with internal bleeding. While the scene looks great in the movie, it wasn't so fun for the actress to film. We can't imagine it was Matthew Lewis's favorite either.
Everyone had their different styles of fighting.
Could there be anything more chilling than an embrace from He Who Shall Not Be Named? Tom Felton was totally taken off guard by this improvised move from Voldemort actor Ralph Fiennes, which left him feeling really uncomfortable. The whole scene had Felton on edge, confused and a little terrified by the creepy hug.
Well done.
While the banquet scenes in the first film looked regal and decadent, filming them was far from pleasant for the actors. If we could smell what was on film, audiences would have been running out of the theater because the food being filmed had been rotting for days. As the days went on, shooting these scenes became nauseating for the actors, who had to deal with the stench of food going bad, only made worse by being under hot lights for hours on end.
I'll say 1, 2, 3, and action, the food appears.
Who knew filming such a beloved series could have been so difficult for the actors? Knowing just how
That's it. Wow, that was a good one. That was Harry Potter actors' least favourite scenes to film. I'm going to give that one a like. 57.1k, brilliant.
23 minutes in.
24. And now we have, I have watched this one many times because I love it. It was Harry Potter rules stars have to follow. It's really good.
Hogwarts robes may have looked roomy, but did you that the kids... Those Hogwarts robes may have looked roomy, but did you realize that the kids all had their pockets sewn shut? Because Tom Felton kept breaking the rules. And speaking of breaking the rules, Alan Rickman made off with more than a few props from set that he wasn't supposed to. Some rules are golden, but others were made to be broken. These are all the rules the Harry Potter cast was meant to follow. Harry Potter fans know best how a little chocolate can go a long way.
Eat. You'll feel better.
Tom Felton took this advice to heart, and during the first few films, he used to sneak chocolate and sweets into the pockets of his Hogwarts robes. Some of the other kids even started to follow his example, though Tom wouldn't give away any of their names. This went against the production's strict rule against snacking during filming hours, and so the costume department came up with a creative solution to the rule breaking by sewing up the pockets on the kids' robes.
Lol.
This probably came in handy when it came to handling
Sewing
any
up the
theft on set as well.
Sewing up people's pockets. Come on.
Like, why?
Why?
Why would they sew
Well, we can imagine, though they only started doing this sometime after The Prisoner of Azkaban. Any stars with sticky fingers still had 3 whole movies to make away with some pretty memorable memorabilia. You've probably heard your favorite stars talk about taking the occasional souvenir from set.
They ended up making like 15 of them, so there's like, just take one.
But in the case of Harry Potter, taking things from set was a strict no-no. As spoilers, still that didn't stop the actors from trying. Jason Isaacs watched Alan Rickman slip a few gold coins into his pockets during the first days of filming at Gringotts Bank, which made him feel like he'd be safe to go up to director David Yates and politely ask if he could take home one of the thousands of copies.
Well, that is an ad, so we'll...
No, it's fine. We don't need standby. There's only 1 more second left, and I don't. Yeah.
Of the Daily Prophet. David said yes, but when Jason tried to leave with the paper, he was approached by a set worker who told him he needed it back. Jason may not have been lucky, but Daniel Radcliffe was able to get away with 2 pairs of Harry's glasses, while Emma Watson kept her wand, her time turner, and a cloak. So this rule is pretty standard
Steely
for
Emma.
franchises like this. Does anyone remember the time Tom Holland leaked the poster for Endgame?
No.
Stars just aren't supposed to discuss anything from filming when they're off set. But one Harry Potter star took that responsibility further than most. Alan Rickman had a difficult job, as it wasn't always easy to tell what Snape's intentions were supposed to be. Because of this, Alan would argue with directors over how Snape would act. Early into filming, J.K. Rowling had helped Alan by telling him what lies behind the word always. And according to producer David Heyman, there were several times where Alan would tell directors, no, I can't do that. I know what is going to happen and you don't. Which we imagine must have been frustrating, but not nearly as frustrating as not being subscribed to our channel. So make sure to hit that button now.
Yeah, should we hit it?
No.
Oh, why not? Let's hit it. Oh, I'm already subscribed. Ha! Funny.
How to join our party. And speaking of parties, you're probably pretty familiar with this rule from your school or workplace already. The producers wanted our cast to be just as clear-headed and focused on their work as your boss most likely wants you to be. And so they asked our cast not to partake in any alcohol or illicit substances. Although that didn't stop, well, everyone. Between the ages of 18 and 21, Daniel Radcliffe used to drink as a means to cope with the immense pressure of fame.
I did become very reliant on it.
Daniel swore that he never drank at work on Harry Potter, but would admit that I went into work still drunk. I can point to many scenes where I'm just gone. Dead behind the eyes, Daniel was able to quit in 2010 with the help of friends and family.
The last year has been a lot more manageable and a lot better. I've been a lot happier.
We're just glad that nobody got hurt. Can you imagine what would have happened if one of the actors were injured during filming? A sprained knee alone could have delayed production by days or even weeks, and so the entire cast was forbidden from playing any contact sports. And so what did the cast do instead? They golfed. Oliver Phelps revealed that golf was one of the only sports we were allowed to do in our contract because it was relatively quite safe. This led to a number of the actors developing an obsession with golf, and they even set up a sort of driving range using a mat and a 150-yard cone at the other end at Leavesden Studios, where the films were made. Oliver said he and his brother James would often hang out with Rupert Grint there, just so long as they were being careful with everyone else's things. Now you gotta respect the ride. We definitely like to think of the Harry Potter cast as being like a family, and so it's nice to hear that the rumors from set suggest that Alan Rickman took Rupert Grint and Matthew Lewis out for milkshakes one day after filming for the Goblet of Fire.
Out for milkshakes? They take actors out for milkshakes. What on earth?
fire. But what should have been a cute little moment between them turned into a whole big mess when those milkshakes wound up all over the back seat. So when Alan bought himself a BMW at some point during the filming for Order of the Phoenix, he set down the rule that none of the younger actors were allowed to touch it.
Control your emotions.
But especially not Rupert or Matthew, who were the alleged reasons for the rule to be put in place in the beginning. And it's a shame, too. We imagine they could have used those milkshake breaks in between studying. Just because you're at wizarding school doesn't mean you don't have to study. The child stars on the set for Harry Potter were all required to attend 4 hours of tutoring, either on or somewhere nearby the set. And considering their characters were all supposed to be at school anyway, actors who appeared in the background would often be encouraged to do their actual homework, just to make it look as realistic as possible, according to Oliver Phelps. At one point, the director Alfonso challenged our stars to write an essay speaking to their characters, and each one of our main 3 responded in the most in-character of ways. Daniel was proud of his essay until he saw...
Sorry, something up to my computer. Continue.
And Rupert?
I didn't do it.
Oh, Rupert. But while they may have been normal kids in some ways, when it came to their hair, they had far less control than you would want. How attached are you to your current hairstyle? Can you imagine wearing it for the next 10 years? While our stars were filming for Harry Potter, they were under contractual obligation not to change their appearance whatsoever. This was especially troublesome for Tom Felton, who had to touch up his dark roots like every 5 or so days just to maintain Draco Malfoy's bleached blonde look. When filming ended, he said that not having to dye his hair anymore was
One of the greatest reliefs of it all.
Emma Watson was another one who struggled with her hair at the time. She referred to her hair in the first movie as ugly, and just as soon as filming ended, she cut all of her hair off into a pixie cut. She said that she's wanted
cut. A pixie cut.
I don't know why. A pixie cut.
Why a pixie cut?
to do it since she was about 16, and described the haircut as liberating. But that isn't even the only hair-related dilemma they had on set. It seems that Hogwarts is more like a regular school than you'd think. During the filming of The Chamber of Secrets, our young cast dealt with a serious outbreak of head lice that changed the way things were done for a little bit. It's hard to say if the hair department could have played a role in the spread, as they may have been using improperly sanitized tools between actors, but that's neither been confirmed nor denied. And really, it isn't that surprising when you consider the fact that lice tend to gather where children are anyway. According to Daniel Radcliffe, each child actor had to undergo a thorough lice check before they were allowed to go on to do any filming, so that it would be dealt with then and there, so they don't get out of hand. But while we're on the topic of Daniel, did you know that he wasn't even Chris Columbus's first choice to play Harry? This rule affected who was even allowed to be in the cast. When picking out names to be in the first Harry Potter film, Warner Bros. Wasn't exactly looking at the sort of cast you might expect. Like, they wanted Robin Williams to play Hagrid, and the director, Chris, thought that
how dare he?
That Liam Aiken, who played Klaus in Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, would make the perfect Harry. But what do those two actors have in common? Well, for those of you who don't already know, they're both American, and J.K. Rowling put down her foot to say that the cast needed to be primarily British. But that doesn't mean that a few American actors didn't manage to slip through the cracks, like Michigan-born Vern Troyer, who took on the role of Griphook in the first movie before going on to be replaced by English actor Warwick Davis. So although there may have been a few troublemakers among the cast making away with props they shouldn't, it's nice to see that everyone amongst the cast tried to remain respectful towards each other and the rules, especially when it came to Alan Rickman's BMW. Which one of these strict rules were you the most surprised?
Okay, so there are only 2 more videos left, and
we're 33 minutes in.
And this is Harry Potter auditions and how the cast landed the role.
I'll miss Harry's world so much.
Welcome back to another video, fellow Potterheads. The Harry Potter cast has spoken many times about how spectacular the 10 years on set of the franchise was for them. But
I would love to be a Harry Potter actor. That's like my dream. After getting the brand new iPhone every year, but that is one of my things that I would literally love to do.
Did you know that a lot of these actors were so close to not landing the role? The majority of the cast don't have your traditional audition story, and you'll never believe how some of these actors landed a part in the film. Ready to hear the stories? Accio, year 2000. 10-year-old Daniel had no idea how much the Harry Potter producers wanted him for this role. His dad actually knew some of the filmmakers from having worked with them in his everyday job as a literary agent. That didn't stop them from rejecting their offers to have Daniel audition, though. What? In the early days, Harry Potter was actually supposed to be filmed in America, and the actors were asked to sign on for all movies at just 10 years old.
You know, you would sign up for the entire series, and it was all to be filmed in America.
Dan's parents thought that was a little too disruptive to their son's life. Little did they know what would happen. But then, one trip to the theater turned that all around. Daniel's parents took seeing the Harry Potter screenwriters as a sign, and voila!
I don't believe in fate, but very fortunately my parents do.
He went on to audition and found out he got the part while taking a bath. To this day, Dan claims it was luck and the fact that he loved what he was doing that landed him the part.
Dragon egg.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
A dragon egg. Oh, yeah. Is that what it is? That's a classic British sentence. That's classic. I'm going to make a song. That was classic British type. Classic British type. That's good, right?
Nobody wants to hear that.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
Rupert's audition story is a true testament to how similar
Sorry, something happened to my computer again. It keeps shutting down.
he actually is to Ron Weasley. He sent not one, but 2 audition tapes. He never received a response from the first one, so decided to make another one and take it to the next level with a rap.
Then I did a rap, how I wanted to be.
1 minute, he rapped. He rapped! Oh my god.
Ron.
That got the casting department's attention, and after
This is your brain when you're struggling to
Sorry,
focus.
5-second ad,
And
5-second
this is
ad,
your
it's
brain
fine. 2,
when you're in the
1,
zone.
skip.
after multiple auditions, he was officially Ron Weasley.
Something doesn't make sense.
Back in 2011, he even performed the rap. Take a listen.
Hello there, my name's Rupert Green. I hope you like this and don't think I stink.
Emma Watson
Oh my
had
god,
close
that's
to
just... I would never rap just to get a part.
no experience when she was cast in Harry Potter. The casting directors from the film had visited schools in London looking for the perfect Hermione.
My school got an invitation to get 16 of us from the school of the ages around 11.
They obviously loved her because they called her in for a proper audition. 6 more to be exact, and then finally offered her the part. Emma still believes that she got the role because of her determination even without experience. How Hermione of her. J.K. Rowling thought so too, even if she originally mentioned that Emma was a little too pretty to play Hermione.
Too pretty to play Hermione? What? That is crazy.
If Filch comes round the corner any second now.
The theme of Matthew Lewis's Neville audition is 100% dedication. He waited in line for about 5 hours with his mom at an open audition just for the chance to show his talent. He was a huge fan of Harry Potter and needed a role.
Just been so fortunate to be in a project like that. Be a huge fan of the books.
That looks cool. That is so determined.
After his mom tried convincing him just to head home, he was determined to reach the front of the line. And he did. Believe it or not, Tom Felton wasn't in the market to play Draco Malfoy. He originally auditioned for both Harry Potter and Ron Weasley. He obviously didn't get those lead roles, but where—
1 minute, Draco. The actor of Draco Malfoy wanted to be Harry Potter and Ron. That's crazy. That will not suit him.
Pretty sure him playing Draco instead was the perfect decision, and Tom thinks he knows the exact point where they knew he'd be a great Malfoy. He spent the entire audition pretending like he was a fan of the books, so when the producers asked him what his favorite scene was, he had no choice but to lie.
The guy next to me said something about Gringotts and goblins, so I was just like, yeah.
The producers must have taken that as a very Draco thing to do, and he got the part. Ivana Lynch being in the Harry Potter franchise was fate, and you can't convince us otherwise. Before she even auditioned for the role, she had been pen pals with J.K. Rowling, who encouraged her to overcome her eating disorder. So when she heard there would be an open audition for Luna in London, she flew over with her father and waited hours with thousands of other girls. After being screened on her looks, take a listen to what she told casting agents.
And I was like, if you don't pick me, that's okay, that's your choice, but you're going to be wrong.
When they called in the actual casting...
That's determined to say that. I thought I thought they were like, no, that's rude. Definitely not letting you in. That's a good behind the scene cast. And they're like, you're bad. Oh.
Director to come in during her audition, she knew things had gone well, and she was right. Just 3 days later, they called her back for a second audition. The rest is history.
We became, pen friends before I got the role.
Bonnie Wright has her brother to thank for landing the role of Ginny Weasley. She'd only been 9 years old at the time of the Harry Potter casting, and her older brother was a huge fan of the series. So when he mentioned to her that she looked like Ginny, she decided to read the books and absolutely fell in love. After begging her mother to get her an audition for Ginny, she got the role. And here we are almost 2 decades later.
I mean, I started when I was 9. I think you can still vividly remember quite a lot of it.
James and Oliver also attended an open audition together and continued to get called back until landing the role. But the funny thing was they had no idea who was playing which Weasley twin. So they got to set the first day still not knowing. And after getting their scripts, they finally decided it was time to ask the casting director. Except she had no idea either. She eventually came back with an answer, but James and Oliver are convinced they decided who would play who on a whim. Tom Felton wasn't the only one who had no idea what or who Harry Potter was. Devin Murray's Harry Potter audition had a pretty embarrassing twist to it. After being invited to a screen test for the first film, he walked straight past Daniel to director Chris Columbus and said,
Hi, Harry. Nice to meet you.
We're pretty sure Chris laughed it off, considering he was later offered the part. Not to be dramatic, but it would probably be a crime against humanity if Helena Bonham Carter wasn't Bellatrix.
It really was.
That was almost a reality.
She's a good
Did my research, because I just thought, I didn't quite extend as far as reading all the books.
She wasn't the original actress cast for the role. They originally brought on Helen McRory, but Helen left the role after she found out she was pregnant, and they brought on Helena. The two ended up playing sisters. Helen McRory was recast as Narcissa Malfoy in the last 3 films. The original Dumbledore was played by the iconic Richard Harris before he sadly passed away. But we were so close to never
I absolutely love Richard Harris. Richard Harris is the best
seeing
actor.
his version of Dumbledore. The producers offered him the role multiple times, and each time offered him more money. But Richard just didn't want to spend his golden years working on a franchise. But he eventually gave in. For that, we have his granddaughter to thank, who hilariously told her grandfather she'd never speak to him again if he didn't take on the role. Alan Rickman wasn't the first choice for Snape. Let that sink in.
What? Alan Rickman's the best Snape actor you can imagine. He was
only brought on after Tim Roth turned down the role to take on the blockbuster hit Planet of the Apes. At least it worked out for both of them. We have to say we're very glad they decided to go the route of Alan Rickman. Just look at how much he loved the franchise.
Do you know, I won't really miss anything because it's been such an extraordinarily complete character to play.
Ralph Fiennes originally thought that Voldemort...
The actor, Alan Rickman, who passed away in 2016, he sounds like Snape in general.
Just wasn't his cup of tea. He was a classically trained actor and couldn't see himself playing the character. But his sister talked some sense into him, and we got the dark masterpiece that is Voldemort. Honestly, his theater training made Voldemort that much more dramatic, and we love it. Being the author of the series, J.K. Rowling, of course, had some names...
That's the end of the video, actually. So, and this is the end of the podcast episode. I am so sorry, but I really don't have time. My boss needs me, and this is usually our time limit. So, I will see you guys in the next video, /podcast episode, /short, /community post, /playlist, /livestream, which we barely ever do we, Fabi?
Yeah.
Okay, we will see you guys later. Fabi, give them some wishes.